What's up, guys? My name's Tracy L. I'm an animator and illustrator living in Los Angeles, and you are watching the State of the Animation Industry 2020-25. What? Hold on, wait. No, I meant 2025. 2020-25. God damn it. What the hell happened to children's television? There are no jobs. Hollywood is dead. Tech companies have laid everyone off. As a matter of fact, all companies have laid everyone off. Jobs going extinct in 2025 was not on my bingo card, and yet here we are. AI and H-1B visas have ruined job opportunities for all Americans and new grads. As an American, you are absolutely entitled to the jobs and future of your country, and you should not be competing with the entire third world and people who are willing to work at slave wages. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, where's the patriotism? Wouldn't an American company want to hire all Americans? Like, why? We have a bunch of multi-billionaires in this country. They could easily be hiring and paying Americans living wages, fair wages. But instead, these same billionaires are trying to convince you that Americans aren't smart enough to do high-skilled labor and Americans aren't willing to do low-skilled labor. So it just sounds like they don't want Americans doing labor, working and being able to pay for things for themselves. And even if these billionaires hired Americans, paid top dollar and everything, they would still be billionaires. They would still be the richest people in the country, the richest people in their state, richest people in the world. They can afford to hire Americans. They choose to hire slaves and non-Americans who will work for slave wages while being subsidized on your tax dollar. Give up your money, your jobs, your tax dollars, your opportunities, your future, your livelihood to foreigners, to people who are not American citizens. It's wild. If you feel like it's wrong, it's wrong. And you're not bad for saying it's wrong. Something's being stolen from you, which is your right to work and your right to have the job in your field that you would like to have. And you're not a bad person for noticing and standing up for yourself and defending yourself against it. And the economy in California is... And did I mention everything's on fire in this state? So that's the state of the industry currently. RIP to what we used to know. I've heard of a lot of people leaving the industry or trying to find new careers, but the same folks that told us to learn to code are telling coders now to learn a trade. Like... as if becoming a plumber is somehow safer than coding. Not in today's economy. You shouldn't listen to these folks who constantly move the goalposts because they will always just find a reason to blame you for whatever your choice you're going to make anyway. The fact is, you're not being unreasonable for wanting an art job or a better quality of life while doing what you love and are trained to do. It's not you. It's this world that's gone upside down. Studios haven't done anything original in almost more than a decade, and they only offer reboots no one asked for and mental illness. And also, this is a personal vendetta of mine. In my personal opinion, they make bad, controversial shows and movies with Black people in them on purpose, hoping they tank so that they can say Black shows and characters don't sell. And if the slop that they do feed to Black audiences does well, they claim the community is degenerate for liking gutter-filled stuff. And, I will die on this hill. Diverse content does not have to be controversial or bad quality or anything less than enjoyable and fun to watch. It feels a lot like they make it bad as a form of weaponized incompetence. But I digress. I just want to make a point that diversity can be done well. We can have way better Black representations and not make people feel like they're being forced down their throat for stuff. Anyways, like I said, I digress. Children's television used to be a big business in California, with the greatest artists in the country making cultural icons for generations to enjoy. As a child of the 90s, I know kids' cartoons aren't just for kids. It's for our inner child at any age. That's why shows like SpongeBob remain so popular. But it sucks that today's kids don't have their own space for fresh, fun cartoons to enjoy. The world we grew up in of Saturday morning cartoons doesn't exist anymore unless we make the choice to maintain it. The whole reason I became an artist and animation producer is because I love children's television, and it made a huge difference in my life growing up. I wanted to pass that down to the next generation, and I still do. It's one of the main reasons why over the pandemic I quit my tech job at Google as an art director to create my pilot on Cartoon Network with Cartoon Network's pilot program, Cartoon Cartoons, which you might remember as being the pilot program that started Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory, Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Regular Show. It's basically their incubator for all their new creators and all their new originals. People at the time was like, it's a huge risk. Why would you leave tech to go do a children's cartoon? But I felt like it was the right thing to do, and in the end it was, because I got to have a one-of-a-kind great experience working with the best people, leading a project I'm extremely passionate about, doing what I love at one of the greatest cartoon production art houses of our century and children's television. And I got to work with really amazing mentors and artists, such as Nick Jennings, the head of the Cartoon Cartoons program, the co-creator of SpongeBob, and the art director for all of your favorite cartoons in the past 30 years. He art directed all of them. Adventure Time, SpongeBob, Rocko's Modern Life. He did everything. The guy's an OG. He was a great mentor to all the filmmakers as we were producing our own productions, and answered a lot of questions. And an animation, that's really mostly how it is. Information and learning how to produce at that level being passed down from generation to generation. And so grateful for the people who still believe in the future of young artists and young filmmakers. That's really what the program is about. And shout out to all the leadership that understood that. I love the team that I produced the pilot with. The Cartoon Cartoons program is basically an apprenticeship for executive producing your own children's series. It, of course, was amazing, but also now I realize that's probably never going to happen again. Opportunities like that don't really exist anymore. Even when the opportunity did exist, it only happened once every 10 years. They would do Cartoon Cartoons. And of course, it was a huge honor to be part of a program that brought us the legacy of some of the greatest animation executive producers of our lifetime. And I'm so proud to be part of that lineage of artists and to have produced something so gorgeous at that level and had the chance to express myself as a filmmaker that way. I really wish you guys could see my pilot for I Love You, Jocelyn. It's really visually stunning. Maybe one day you will. But if you had asked me a year ago what I thought would have happened, I would have had a very different outlook than the one I'm sharing with you today. Because a year ago, I was premiering my pilot on the Warner Brothers lot with Cartoon Cartoons at Cartoon Network, and it was just a very different vibe. No one saw what today would be, you know? It's kind of crazy. Looking back, I'll definitely have to make a video about it. If you'd like a video about why I left Google or my experience creating a pilot at Cartoon Network with Cartoon Cartoons, let me know in the comments below. Artists like me that make these type of shows used to be platformed and supported by big companies. Now it's like a lot of companies won't invest in talent. They just kind of expect artists to market, produce, distribute, and manage their products themselves before they take any artist on, which is basically doing everything the company used to provide for artists. But they expect artists to do it all themselves now, and if what they produce isn't viral in 8 seconds, you're canceled. So it's kind of just ridiculous. Even folks with Emmys are having a hard time finding work in California in the entertainment industry and in Hollywood. I know the unemployment reports are saying it's only like 5%, but they are majorly scruffing those numbers, because based off of what I've seen living in LA, unemployment in Hollywood has to be closer to like 25-30%. California is one of the worst places to do business. It's one of the reasons the studios aren't producing anything new right now. It's one of the worst places to do business in the country. Don't come here. Don't come here. I'm telling you. No one is hiring new grads right now, and a lot of people are leaving the state of California. I never thought I'd live to see the fall of Hollywood, tech, and children's television as an industry in California. But it's important to remember that the industry itself didn't always exist. Which brings me to this video's silver lining. If I had to give you guys a silver lining, there's something to live for. The indie scene is poppin'. The indie scene is poppin'. Animation existed before the industry, and history in real time is showing us that it will exist after. Whether the animation studios we knew and loved as kids make a comeback, or whether we create the new wave of indie work ourselves as artists, there's always going to be art. Artists are always going to art, you know? It's just how it is. Just like when Walt Disney showed up to Hollywood and there was no animation industry, Hollywood was nothing but a bunch of orange groves, and he made something out of nothing by hiring children's book illustrators to bring them in and teach them animation, and now we know there's an animation industry, but back then there was no animation industry. Walt Disney and other creative producers and leaders provided that space so that artists could find work. And so many artists who have chosen to step up as leaders, producers, heads of organizations, and other initiatives, so many artists have gone independent, creating their own shops, brands, and animated projects, finding great success and building communities along the way. Going into business isn't for everyone. Heck, leadership isn't for everyone. Not everyone wants to be a producer, and not everyone wants to, found a company or a brand or something, and that's okay. Maybe some folks move on to something new or come back when the industry has roles available. You don't have to give up on your creativity or your art just because you can't get a job at some big company. A lot of indie artists actually make more money working for themselves and retain more creative control than folks who might have a more secular role. I wish artists had the security and support of the tech, movie, and television studios of the past. Without that leverage, it's made things so unnecessarily hard, especially for young creatives starting out. So if you're a young, unemployed creative who just graduated, don't be hard on yourself or feel bad. It's not just you, it's everybody experiencing a lack of jobs and opportunities. Plan your next steps, keep creative, and build community. Even if you don't want to be the leader of a business or the face of an organization or build your own animation studio, maybe you can be the leader of a community in your area. Maybe you can lead the figure drawing community in your area, or create a sketchbook group, or just create some sort of creative space where artists can socialize and come together, because that's really where the industry all started, from artists coming together and working on projects together and spending time creating. So build that community and make your mark in your own way. Also, small new channel update. Thank you to everyone who ordered commissions. I officially filled to the brim with commissions up until Lightbox this year. So I got enough commissions, so I'm closing down the Ko-fi, and you can still order on my Etsy commissions and products and stuff like that. Just the Ko-fi is done. I only did the Ko-fi to raise money for Lightbox, and mission accomplished. Thank you to everyone who ordered a commission. You guys are the best. It's just kind of a lot, and I have a lot to prepare for Lightbox. It's going to be interesting seeing how Lightbox is this year, all things considered, with Hollywood and the industry. But it is really hard to get a table at Lightbox. I know thousands of people applied this year, and so I just feel really lucky that I'm going to be able to table with my brand Sunshine Cartoons, and it's just really cool launching a brand independently as an artist and just building my little business. I can't wait to see what life has for me next in my journey as an artist, especially in the field of animation, production, and illustration. Will I go indie? Will I grow my brand until I'm the next Care Bears. Who knows? We'll see. Depends on if you shop my Etsy. For stickers and products that you love, it's all made by me. It's so affordable, check out my story. In my next video, I'll be sharing some top tips for young grads to find success as an artist. Some of my suggestions might not be what you expect, but subscribe and follow for more videos, and I hope everyone had a lovely Memorial Day weekend and enjoyed the beautiful summer sunshine that's left before we get into spooky season. I'll see you guys in the next video.